If you are considering a move to the Phoenix area and wondering what our expenses are for big things like water, electricity, and housing, this is the video for you. I moved here about 6 years ago, and since I've lived here, I've kind of started to get a feel for what things cost, along with some research. So I'm here to tell you what it costs to live in Phoenix and what you should expect if you're considering a move to the Phoenix area. My name is Trevor Bragg. I'm a realtor here in the area, here to give you everything you need to know about living in Phoenix. One thing I always have to advertise is my totally free Moving to Phoenix guide. If you email me, I will get it to you on the screen, and it is 100% free. It's everything I wish I knew before I moved to the Phoenix area, and it's just stuff that I wish I knew. I wish someone told me, and now you have a chance to do that. It's about 20 pages long, everything you need to know about the Phoenix area. Email me, and I will get that in your inbox. So, cost of living in Phoenix in 2023. So these are current stats we're going by, things you should know. And we're going to start with your biggest expense, which is going to be housing. Our median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the Phoenix area is about $1,400. That has definitely gone up in the last 2 to 3 years, especially. That number used to be closer to $1,000 and even under at $900. But now we're about $1,400 a month for your median rent for a one-bedroom place. So about the smallest that you can find, your average rent's going to be about $1,400. If you're looking for a single-family home, that number is going to jump up to $2,400 a month for your average single family house, which is about a 3-bed, 2-bath. Anywhere in the Phoenix area, you can find some at $1,800. You can find some at $10,000 a month over in North Scottsdale. So the range definitely varies for that, but $2,400 a month is what you can expect if you are thinking of renting a house here in Phoenix. If you're thinking of purchasing a house, our median price right now is $439,000, and that number has skyrocketed in the last 3 years especially. Phoenix was one of the fastest appreciating cities in the entire country, and so our prices are at $439,000, with our average square footage being about 2,100 square feet for a typical house here in Phoenix, which is fairly large for $439,000 compared to other metro cities, 2,100 square feet being our average. One thing I like to do when breaking down cost of living is comparing Phoenix to similar cities, especially when it comes to the western half of the United States. What are the major metro cities around us, and what are their cost of living to compare? So basically, if you're looking at Phoenix, you probably want a place with some things to do, a downtown area, plenty of jobs. What does Phoenix compare to these other western places? Some of them are going to be more obvious comparisons, some of them less obvious. So let's take a look at some of their average house prices just for western metro cities. Salt Lake City, a big one, $522,000, about $80,000 more than Phoenix. Denver, their median sale price is $636,000. Seattle, just under $700,000. LA at $750,000. Portland at $556,000, and Las Vegas at $441,000. Vegas clearly the only one that's close to us when it comes to housing prices, and they are a very similar city to the Phoenix area in terms of what you're getting in a neighborhood. Our downtowns are much different. Vegas compared to here, obviously got all the casinos here. We're a little bit more sports oriented, although Vegas is shifting that way as well. So yeah, Vegas is clearly our best comparable when it comes to a major metro city in the western United States that you could look at comparing housing prices. Another big thing to factor in after housing is going to be your transportation. Can you get around in the area? Do you have to live in downtown to ever work in downtown, or can you live way off in the suburbs? And here in Phoenix, you can definitely live in the suburbs. It is not uncommon for someone to live 30, 40 minutes away from work, which could be 20, 30 miles here in Phoenix, and you drive all the way to downtown. It only takes you 30, 40 minutes. So transportation is a big deal. Most people, just about everyone, gets around with cars here in Phoenix. It's pretty rare that someone relies solely on our either bus system or light rail system. Our light rail is expanding, but it's mostly just major destinations from one place to another, like getting you from ASU to downtown Phoenix, or now they're extending it to be near a mall area in Phoenix, and then that will take you to downtown. So it's pretty rare for someone to actually use that as their main transportation, unless you just happen to live really close to it. Most people drive. And our freeway system here is honestly extremely good, especially compared to Southern California, where I came from. It's just much more organized. There's much less traffic. If there is traffic, it's probably going to be because of an accident, not just because there's a ton of people going to a certain place. There is rush hour, so if you're going towards downtown in the morning, from 7 to 9 a.m., or if you're leaving downtown from, let's say, 3 to 7 p.m., you could hit some traffic going the opposite direction or going towards it. But I wouldn't say it's ever terrible terrible. Again, unless there's an accident, it's pretty rare that you ever see standstill traffic. If anything, our slowdowns come to maybe 20-30 miles an hour when it bottlenecks in a few areas, especially on the 10. Besides that, we don't have too much traffic. On average, our transportation is at 107 for the cost of living index that I like to go by, and that is 7 above the average, so 100 being the average across all states in the United States. We are at 107, just above it when it comes to cost of transportation. I'm guessing gas prices being the main reason. We do have slightly higher gas prices. Right now we're at $5, which is extremely high for us. When I moved here about 5 years ago, we were in the low 2s. So we've definitely gone up in gas prices since then. Just to compare it to some of these other cities, Salt Lake, it's going to be cheaper for transportation there. Seattle is more expensive. Vegas is more expensive. LA is way more expensive, along with Portland being much more expensive for transportation, and Denver being about the same as here in Phoenix when it comes to transportation. When it comes to utilities here in Phoenix, we actually rank a little bit above average. So our total cost of utilities on average, this is water, sewer, trash, electricity, natural gas. On average, it's about $204 across the Phoenix area. The average across the United States is about $174. So for water, sewer, trash, we're talking about $50 to $60. That's right around the range of mine, and I actually have real grass in my backyard, and it's a decent size. Not like an acre or anything like that, and I water it, and I have green grass, and it's about $60 for my water, sewer, and trash combined. So that is fairly cheap and below average, but we are more expensive for electricity. I'd say in the winter months, you're probably talking $75 to $100 you're spending a month on electricity, possibly even lower, depending on how frugal you are with it, just because you almost don't need to run your AC unit or heater. Like the months of November and December, we have just about nothing on. I mean, it's about 65 to 75, maybe 80 degrees, and so you almost don't need an AC or heater during those times. But then when you get into January, February, you might use your heater a little bit, but especially in July and August, your heater's running almost the entire day. There's definitely some ways to lower that cost, but depending on the size of your house, I'd expect at least probably like 225, and if you have a big house, up to 350 or 400 if you're talking like a 4,000 square foot house. It also depends if you're on a single story or 2-story, but electricity ranges, it varies fairly greatly. I'd say on average it's about $175 per month across the Phoenix area, and then when you're factoring in about $50 to $60 of utilities, we're talking $200 to $230 would be an estimate on how much you could expect to pay in utilities per month. So now the final comparison, let's compare these other metro cities and their total cost of living. We kind of compared their housing so you could get a kind of good idea there, but what is their cost of living compared to Phoenix? So maybe you're considering Denver, maybe you're considering Seattle, or you're considering LA, and you want to see what's the cost of living in Phoenix compared to those cities? Let's take a look right here. When it comes to Salt Lake City, they are a 122 compared to Phoenix's 107. So we are 15%, that's not exact, but 15 index lower than Salt Lake City. Denver is at 127, so we are much cheaper than that. LA, no surprise here, 176 for their cost of living. That's 75% more than the median cost of living in the United States. Seattle, 167. Portland, 132, and Vegas coming in just above us at 111. So compared to any metro city on the western United States, we are going to be the lowest cost of living. And my next video is going to be about our pros and cons, and I think you are going to see we have some pretty awesome pros for this city, especially when you factor in that we're the cheapest metro city anywhere near Phoenix. We are going to be the cheapest, and when you couple that with how many great things we have to offer, like our neighborhoods, like our things to do, like our kind of natural scale of major sporting events, we are a great place to live, and I think the cost of living really backs that up. Thanks so much for watching. If you want that free Moving to Phoenix guide, just email me. My email's on the screen. I'd love to help you if you're thinking of moving to the Phoenix area. I'm a realtor here in Phoenix. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and stay tuned for more videos like this.